All right, you are live, and we just beat our gums for a moment there, introducing. Is live is there. A great start to Wednesday morning, and here is Max Hurd,
morning.
who is rapidly becoming my right-hand man. Great guy, very competent, and he keeps me on the right track. But he also brings the voice of youth, if you like, which
really.
is needed when you have got people like myself and Stuart Dolby around. I don't know where Stuart is this morning. He's heading off to Edinburgh later today, but hopefully he can get in, because once again, one of the big critical crisis things is the question of energy and energy prices. So I hope that we've got Stuart here this morning. All right, let's do the protocol thing, shall we? Yes, why not? Perhaps Max will get one for you.
Yeah,
because speak of the devil, if you speak often enough of the devil, he is bound to appear. And who is here but dear old Ollie, aka Stuart Dolby, our energy expert, but also a man about town, author, bon vivant, and a man who is heading for Edinburgh later today. Is that right?
No, I'm back from Edinburgh, you fool.
Oh, he's been to Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah.
I knew we'd got something right or something wrong somewhere. Oh, that's good. Well, you give us a full report.
Yes, but first of all, look at that lovely bloody headline. It says, "Oh, it's gold to my ears." This is Sunak is, the windfall tax about the fossil fuels.
Yes,
it's now been extended to all the electricity companies, the big cartel of suppliers, and also to wind farms. Now that is going to be a right old laugh, isn't it? When you come to think about it.
Well, I mean, do wind farms make enough to pay a tax?
What?
Do wind farms make enough to pay a tax?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Depends.
Do they get taxed because they're green energy?
Oh, they don't get taxed. No.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But the thing is about them, they don't. I don't think they make much money. But Rampion does, because it gets enormous subsidies. So that's the whole story in itself. They get huge subsidies, more than anybody else, from the government. Anyway.
Okay, come and sit down.
No, that's not
all right.
Don't.
Yes, but people need to hear what you're saying.
Well,
sit down.
Fine, right. There is a very local political issue, which I suggest we go and film.
Right? Yep.
Right. Outside my house now, there are 6 cars, and my end of my road is absolutely blocked off, apart from pedestrians, because the city wall, if you like, the castle wall, has just run down one of its bricks. And 3 houses in Castle Banks and 3 houses in Castle Rise are now under threat of the castle falling onto it.
Gosh, I know. Right. I knew something had happened the other day, but now this is an update as of this morning, right?
Well, I ought to read you my neighbour's email, because then that will make it much clearer to you.
Okay. Here we are. Now this is from the horse's mouth, live.
No, it's from the horse's life, second hand. In case it wasn't a horse in the first instance, I'm the horse. Okay. Right, now let's see how I can.
Are you comfortable, Max? Come on in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just thinking, do you want to send me the StreamYard link just in case she comes out now and I can run out and.
There's a
click
camera,
the link?
there's somebody's filming something up.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's nothing too interesting. It's just Katie Price going into court. She did something.
So we got Katie Price across the road going in or out of court, and Max has said in his wisdom, perhaps he can go and get right. So what I need to do is to send that link to you, and I think that we can do that. There we go. There it is. Oh, it's all go here this morning, and you can see how this is raw television. Believe me, this is how it really is that you rarely see.
So what's going on across the street? Katie Price is in court, presumably for something drunk related. If I were to guess, I don't know what's actually going on. Do you know who Katie Price is, Stuart?
Vaguely, there's one with the big boobs, isn't she?
Whoops.
yeah, she is.
Hang on. Okay.
You right there?
Yeah.
Do you need me to do it?
What I need to do is to do that. That's right. And then it's the Max.
Yeah, you have.
Take note of this, girls. All those girls out there who are now making him their pin-up. It's the Max Hurd, right?
Yeah.
That's
I think you need to do it from your email.
the Max Hurd at Gmail. Com. Right. Have we got that right? The Max Hurd at gmail.com.
Yes.
All right. Now, here we go. So,
Look, do you want me to do it quickly?
do you want to do it quickly? And it's all right. Everybody can see us.
Yeah, you continue
We're not
talking.
missing anything.
You continue
At least
talking.
everybody should be able to see us.
It's fine. You continue talking. I just did.
Oh, I missed the script over me. No.
It's all happening. It is all happening this morning. And that's the way it should be. Lots of activity. There we are. Today is Robin Bolden's birthday. Oh, that's a friend from way back in Reuters days. Pre-Reuters, in fact. Outlook. Outlook will do.
Yeah. Everyone can still see you. New message.
The Max, there you go. All you got to do is click on it.
And then you're
Put
already.
TV.
Hang on.
And then I can.
Wait. You need to share it with me.
Yeah,
Where's the? Oh, invite.
that's it.
And then to here. And then to me. There we go. Fine.
Right. Now you've seen television in action, raw television in action. That's what you've just seen, because we've now dispatched Max as our key reporter to keep an eye on Katie Price over the road. And if she comes out or goes in, and if he spots her, he can go over and do a live report.
It might be in the next hour.
Right. Well, we're on for 3, so we're all right. Well done, Max, and well done, Ollie, who has been already to Edinburgh, and now comes in with a great on the spot thing. Is that the castle walls are even more threatening now to fall down, and there are five residences under threat.
6 at the moment, but you
6.
see the numbers. How there was a thing called the Castle Banks Residents Association, who are very, very worried about these things, and they are now. There's a campaign going which includes Castle Banks, Castle Rise, Castle Ditch, and New Road, where I happen to live.
Right.
And there's a district councillor, God save us all, is coming to talk to us at 10:30 this morning. And the thing is that the castle wall behind us is threatening to come tumbling down on our houses. That's the problem.
Is
And
your house one of them?
It could be, but we are not actually right in the face of a storm, if you see what I mean,
Right.
because we've got a retaining wall down the bottom. Mine is a Victorian house, right? So that was a retaining wall at the bottom, but it goes up the bank, right? And then there's a little wall at the top. So I don't think the castle wall applies to us, but nevertheless, it's a problem because the bank starts falling down. And it's been saved over these many years by sycamore trees, planting themselves in the bank and binding it in together. But lower down, the castle wall comes into the affair because it goes round up to the back of the Lewis Arms, you see. And the castle bank is the road up to the car park, and the castle apparently is tumbling down now. This is the third time that the castle has really done very well.
Yeah, didn't it go like 2 years ago?
I think it was 3 years ago
Was it
now,
2019?
when 600,000 tons, wasn't it, fell down at the back of the rights to the land. Something.
600,000.
No, 600
Okay.
tons, wasn't
Okay,
it?
I
I
was
think
gonna
it was that.
Yeah, 600,000 sounds a lot.
No, they've actually replaced the houses, but the staircase up there. Do you remember the little staircase that goes up to the front up there? What's it called? The circle. What was it called?
The Magic Garden.
The Magic Garden.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, Sophie Orloff, my neighbour, who's sort of one of the spearheads of this campaign, they tried to sort out the antisocial behaviour up there because all the kids that were too young to go to the boozer used to go up there, getting drink, getting stoned, having sex, God knows what else, and worst of all, and also firing catapults at my back window, breaking it down.
Wow.
And what did the police and our beloved district council, which is incompetent in every aspect as far as I can see, did absolutely nothing. So we've got one of their cabinet ministers coming along to face us on at 10:30. So I think Max and I and you better nipple along and film the whole thing.
Well, why not?
I'm going to give them what's known as a right BOLLOCKING. And
One of those mornings when we could do with 3 or 4 camera crews. Katie Price, the Castle Wall, energy crises, you name it, we've got it, and we've got the ability to actually cover it live. Have we actually got the personnel and the equipment to do it? So we'll cross our fingers that these things don't happen in parallel. If they happen in what's the other one? One after another, we're okay. But there, you already know from kerfuffle what's going on now in Lewes on this morning, where I sat here 5 minutes ago before these two came in and totally disturbed my morning, where I was going to nod off in front of a film or something, to tell me that all sorts of things are happening and we've got to be alert. We've got to stay on top of it.
another fine mess you've got to do.
Absolutely.
And where's my morning coffee, for God's sake?
well, now I have to say that the lovely Jane is on, and God bless Jane, because I came in this morning and she'd already got the extension out. She'd laid out things. She helped me untangle the earphones, and on top of that, made coffee. So if you go and have a nice word with Jane, I'm sure that she'll get coffee or whatever else you want. Max, do you need anything?
No, I've got my drink that I haven't opened yet.
Right. All right. Can I just say that Max did a brilliant job on the weekend with his camera work and actually in his editing and production work. And later on in this week, or at the beginning of next, we will be showing Everybody's Got a Story, which will be the first of a series from Liza Page on various people that she's interviewed over the years. And we discussed it yesterday, and we're going to start off with one of the, well, he was until this year the last surviving member of the Holocaust from the camps. Mm-hmm. And she had done an interview with him, and that is ready to go. So it's a nice series.
He was the very last one. I didn't realize that.
Sorry?
He was the very last one.
The very last one, wow. Yeah. So we have some interesting stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. And of course, we keep on with our favorites, these two back here. You've made some very nice comments about them. I don't know about the old man, for God's sake. Who could make a nice comment about him? Must be sort of blinded by the star that he's become. All he does is he says to me, "Another fine mess you've got me into," and I probably have. Right, okay. Let's very quickly, because we've had some interesting people on this week. We had Mick Symes, who took us through everything that's happening with the Jubilee activities on Monday. And in fact, here is the review, if you like, or the program for the activities here next week. And it costs £3, but it's worth it. It's a good one. And we have a beacon lighting ceremony on Thursday, in which we actually start to be part of a nationwide beacon lighting ceremony. And on Saturday, we get, as we normally do, often do, a big firework display supported by the town council and put on by a combination of all the bonfire societies who have come together for this important occasion and are going to actually let go with a huge display.
Are they doing that in London?
No, here.
Oh, in Lewes.
In Lewes.
Is this going to be like in every little town, or?
Well, every little town can do its own thing. Here, of course, Lewes is famous for his fireworks. So I'm quite sure that it's a spectacular. I mean, I know, for instance, that the district, the town council have now made available £15,000 for fireworks, and other people, some of the sponsors in this book, have topped up the fund. So it's going to be quite a spectacular. And the way that you actually get to see that is because it's a private firework display, except it's not private, of course, it's done for all of us. But if you go down to Mulling Field, you will be able to see the whole thing. But do pick up a copy of this program. It's available in some merchants in town, most merchants in town, I think. And the boys will be out this weekend in the precinct selling it. So it's worth a bob or two. In fact, just let me show you one of the things that we have done, because we've we did a little video to show what's inside it and persuade you to buy, and we should. I think this is it. Let's have a go. So there we are. If you get that's some of the stuff that's inside this souvenir program, put together by local traders, and the money's gathered. I think apart from sort of 50 quid that's for costs that couldn't be covered, is covered by sponsorship and donors, and any money collected will go to charities. So a challenge for you. Now, Max is a very good producer, because what he does is he digs me in the ribs and says, now, come on, let's get to one or two headlines, because there are lots of exciting things happening. First of all, Katie Price is in court across the road. Sorry?
Said not exciting.
Well,
I said, well, to be honest,
some people would find that very exciting.
That's literally just every other week.
Right, and Stuart has gone. We'll go rushing off with Max in a little while to cover a meeting with the district council on the question of the castle walls falling down. And they've threatened to do so again in the next couple of days. And when you consider that castle was built in 1140, it
was built in 10.
It started in 1058, I think. Yeah,
1068, 2 years after the Battle of Lewes.
Yeah, and so a very historic building.
The building's almost 1,000 years old.
Yes,
so
it is.
No wonder it's not exactly up to modern day.
No, but it's the sort of thing that we do have to try and save.
Yeah.
So you're quite right to pinpoint it as a great story of interest. Now, the other thing is that you said that you have also identified another story which you would want to discuss later on.
Yeah.
Can you give us a hint what it's about?
So I'll tell you the headline, because it's very, very funny, actually. So Saudi Arabia has invested $3 billion into the into Nintendo. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes, Nintendo, yeah.
So they've purchased a large portion of Mario Kart, the video game. And in Mario Kart 8, because of Saudi Arabia's investment, they are taking out all women drivers from the game. Yeah, I mean, what?
I
didn't actually find that. My brother told me, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a bit far fetched. That's not true." And then I searched it up. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh well, we will discuss that in a little bit of depth a little later. Well done. It does actually remind me of another story that I found in the very early days of television, when there was trial and error. And one of the things that they had to do was to severely edit movies to fit the time schedule that they had. And I worked with an editor who had been blown up in Northern Ireland. And he came over frequently from the mainland for his compensation hearings. But he was famous because he had taken the movie. He was given the job of cutting down the movie of the Secret World of Walter Mitty. And the whole thing about that is that there are lots of dream sequences in the story of Walter Mitty. He's a dreamer, and of course they reflect the dreams. He was given it to start to cut down to size, and he obviously had no idea what the movie was about, and so on. So he cut out all the dream sequences. That'll do it. Nobody knew what the hell the movie was about. All right, let's go and take a look at the front pages, or at least some of them. The Metro, which is the London paper. Hang on, he's got a smile on his face.
I have a very, 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 very interesting little tale to you. I went to see Jane, and I said 2 things. She said, "What's that?" I said, "There's no loo paper in the men's loo, and can I have a cup of coffee? You can only have one. Which is it going to be?" And the other lady said, "Well, you know, one thing leads to another, so he's going to have both, isn't he?" Right. So can we move you?
Yeah.
Am I going to be over there?
Yeah, you take this seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Right. So all-nighter parties at number 10, and that's the Metro, I think, is it? That's the
It's
London
pictures,
paper.
yeah, they've all got the pictures. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Daily Star, God bless it, is it has that they are party animals, and we have to see that because they're very clever often with a headline.
Shall I take all your
The
stuff?
truth about those number 10 work events.
Fine.
Oh, right.
Thanks.
Right.
Sorry.
So what will I do about all this? I'm going to just have a look.
Just get it out of your way. Is the truth about those number 10 work events is that they invited boozy
Right.
workers
Lovely.
sitting on each other's laps during gatherings with no social distancing, and other staff arriving for work the next morning to find empties on tables and chairs and cigarette ashtrays and so on overflowing, the bins overflowing. So there you are. The Star says party animals. That's what they were up to while the rest of us were facing the wall.
Sounds like the last days at Sodom and Gomorrah, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does actually. And I've been saying the last 2 days, and it's interesting that Max, from the young people's point of view, he came in and said, "For God's sake, are we still on about this?" And you said exactly the same thing. So many important things happening that we need our Parliament to address, and they are worried still about bloody iced cake, half-empty champagne bottles, and a packet of crisps.
Here's why not many people care about it anymore. It's because we were like drip fed the story, so it was a little bit of information by little bit, by little bit, by little bit. So about a month or 2 into it, when we were still getting small bits of information, everyone stopped caring. So when the big stuff came out towards the end, no one cares.
Yeah, but see, Boris has created a certain very strange persona from it. Like the one that got him elected. Oh, he's a bit of a lad. He is, you know. He's a bit of a lad. I know he's a bit naughty, but you know, you can't but like him, can you? And that's how he gets away. That's how he became bloody prime minister.
Yeah,
Because people now don't longer vote for the party; they vote for the personality.
that's right.
And of course, that poor old Keir Starmer, who seems to have had a charisma bypass, doesn't sort of meet the stuff.
Did you just say a charisma bypass?
We're all tied down to this celebrity, and actually, one of the things that I was asked, a question I was asked over the weekend was, what was my view of the Ukrainian prime minister, because he was a former comedian. And he had, in fact, played the part of the prime minister.
Sorry, it was the president that was
a president. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Sorry. The different terminology. Their prime minister isn't anywhere near as important as their president, and
not nearly as clean as well. He was right. He was the right old chancellor. He was.
But
I heard he also starred in a few adult films.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh well, then in fact, I'm warming to him even more than when he started. But the fact of the matter is, it makes me wonder when we're selecting our leaders and politicians, what do we want from the top people? Because I would say what you need in a leader is not somebody who is taken up with the minutiae, but somebody who actually can lead, can inspire you. And there is no question that the Zelensky has inspired the Ukrainians to dig their heels in, and what we thought was one of the mightiest armies in the world is being held and in some instances pushed back over the border.
Well, he leads by example, doesn't he? He won't ask anybody else to do what he won't do himself.
So,
I mean, the problem of celebrities invading politics is widespread. Look at Trump. People voted for him because he makes a lot of money. People voted for Boris because he's good on television. And this is a real problem. We're getting these bloody presidents who are not really fit for purpose, because that's the way the politics has become.
well, yes, no, I understand what you're saying about celebrities, and I totally go along with you. I mean, how many film stars have been governor of California now?
Yeah, right,
Starting with Ronald Reagan and going down through the nice beefy man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's
But
right.
actually, Reagan was an exception,
Caitlyn
wasn't he?
Jenner also ran for governor of California not that long ago. Last year, actually.
Who did?
Caitlyn Jenner,
Oh, really?
the former Olympic athlete.
Oh, blimey. Athletes becoming presidents now. Whatever next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, at least they can run around the block very quickly, can't they?
but as somebody said yesterday, the doddery Joe Biden, who comes through the political system, is totally uninspiring.
Yeah.
And as actually in his early days made decisions which were really cocked up decisions, and basically on the fact that he had no idea what on earth that the public wanted. So where do we go to look for our politicians?
When Joe Biden leaves office, he'll be 82, the same age as you are now. Do you think that you could have one of the most stressful jobs in the world at 82?
Yes.
Really?
Well, I've got it here.
Oh, well.
I've got to keep you two under control. Does anybody realize how difficult it is trying to keep these two under control, for God's sake? Jesus.
Very stressful, but calm down, dear. Calm down. Here's your pill. Here's your pill.
I take your point, Max. I really do take your point. And in some ways, I think that, particularly in American politics, the presidency is a gift for good and faithful service to the party. And that's why you've got somebody like Joe Biden, who comes floating to the top. There are two or three of them who the party says, right, we'll select between these three and make it look democratic. But in fact, it's a gift to them for all their hard work to us over the years.
But you've got to also think about
You have to do a lot of favors.
the people who've got around them are really key. The people who advise and so forth and so on. I mean, George W. Bush, had Dick Cheney, who was not a very nice person, but knew how the wires worked,
yeah.
and that kind of thing. And other people were very heavily supported. Kennedy, in particular, had that huge mafia around him, didn't he?
Oh,
Of all kinds
absolutely.
of people.
Absolutely. My goodness me.
Hey, with politicians being inspiring and stuff, imagine Joe Biden being the most inspiring person they could pick for the job. Imagine how worse the other people were if he was the most inspiring.
Well,
Sorry.
the interesting thing is that it is being quietly suggested amongst the intelligence communities that the Chinese just might decide to invade the United States. Now, could you see Biden being like Zelensky if they did?
Absolutely not. But I don't think the Chinese would either. I mean, there's a saying that there's a gun behind every blade of grass. America will never, ever, ever have a ground invasion.
Well,
There will be information campaigns. I think that's already taking place.
actually, they showed the Pearl Harbor bombing the other day in a film. I forget what the film was. Was it Tora or whatever? And I have to say that the representation of what went on there, both politically and militarily, is, I sometimes worry about our institutions, that they are run primarily by civil servants. Even the military is run by civil servants.
You ought to read Max Hayes' book, All Hell Broke Loose, which is about the compact of all it. So when they bombed, Pearl Harbor, the American reaction of the Pacific War was extraordinary. They absolutely wiped out the Japanese in every bloody respect.
Yes.
They beat the Philippines and so forth and so on. And they really, really knew what they're doing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, when it came to Vietnam, for example, it didn't work because Vietnam was essentially a guerrilla war, and it had an indefensible border, and therefore the Americans couldn't really accomplish what they wanted to achieve.
Yes.
Which was to actually,
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, guerrilla warfare is a very, very difficult thing to attack. You and I both spent time in Northern Ireland, and the experts now figure that the provisional IRA based in Belfast had no more than 150 members. And yet look at the havoc that they wreaked.
Yeah, but they had the units, didn't they? They had the units, small units.
Well,
there were 4 of them.
Whichever way, yeah.
4 of them, and they were very, very effective. That was down to the guy that died. What was his name? Not Jerry Adams, the other one, his mate. Come on.
Yes. Who died? Yeah. I wanted to say Sean McStiffen, but no. It'll come back to us in a minute. Yeah. Because actually, he died as a respectable man, didn't he?
Well, he was up with the arch enemy, wasn't he?
Yes.
Paisley and him. Well, he was head of Paisley was head of the legislature, and he was the second. He was
that's right, yeah. Martin McGuinness.
And he actually shook hands with the Queen, God save us all.
Martin McGuinness.
I bet she counted her fingers after that.
The guy who did the bombing in Brighton at the Grand Hotel, trying to kill Margaret Thatcher, he was the IRA.
Yeah.
And he killed 10 people on that day.
Yeah.
And only served something like 6 years in prison.
Mm.
Because he went to prison in 1984, and then in, I think, 1992? There was the Northern Ireland Peace Treaty, and one of the deals was everyone gets released from prison.
That was the Good Friday Agreement.
Yeah,
it was 1988, wasn't it? I think. I can't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 92.
Was it?
Yeah, because he only spent he spent less than 10 years.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, when was the Good Friday Agreement?
I don't know. I'm trying to stretch back.
84?
Yeah.
That sounds about right, yeah.
The start of it, yeah.
But anyway, 10 people, and he didn't even get 10 years in prison.
Yeah. Well, of course, the argument is with political prisoners which side do you want to pick? They both got people who are equally as bad. But that, my dear Max, that is political expediency. And it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things that we have to get used to. I mean, for instance, the exchange of prisoners in the Cold War between Russia and the United States is that there were some pretty nasty people that we sent back to Russia in exchange for people like Gary Powers, who was just a nice young man who actually flew his aircraft the way he shouldn't have flown it. Yeah. I mean, there are anomalies like that.
It was 1 for 10, wasn't it? It was 1 for 10, 1 for a dozen, basically.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Mirror. Why did the PM deny it? We know parties broke the rules. We do indeed, Mirror. You've been telling us for bloody months. And what we're saying is, what about the fuel bills?
When did this all start, Partygate? This was like 6 months
18
ago.
months ago. 18 months ago.
18.
Well, the first part was Christmas. That would have been Christmas. The first lockdown Christmas.
You see, there's 2 things here, isn't it? One of the things is that I know he's a bit of a lad, but why shouldn't he have a party now and again? He's Boris. And the second problem you've got with all this is that Boris has secured his position as Prime Minister because there's nobody else now who could possibly step up to the bridge, because they're all second-rate people. All this, the majority of 80 people, are backwoodsmen, retards. They really are desperate about keeping their seats.
Absolutely.
And as they perceive it, he's the only one that can keep them in their seats. And secondly, there is no one now in the cabinet who can possibly take over the job. Now that Richie Sunak has blown it, he was the only possible successor. because there isn't anybody else, and that's because he filled that cabinet with Brexiteer idiots, second-rate people, and that's why he's secure, and that's why he's not getting done because of this quite clever strategy, which probably wasn't
any bright
devised
people
by
being
him.
kept at a distance, right? Yeah.
Who do you think would be the next prime minister?
Well, that's the whole point. There isn't anyone, is there?
There's nobody in waiting.
There's one person I know people would like to see. Let's say an MP called Kenny Badenoch.
Really?
Have you heard of her? She's a Conservative MP, black woman, very based. She's she's got quite a lot of good.
She only got one leg as well.
No.
Because that's the entire credentials. For,
Is it? Yeah. You've got to be as many ratios as possible.
Oh, right, yeah.
as much as ethnically diverse as you can possibly get. Yeah, but I mean, I know.
A disabled woman of colour.
Yeah, but she would actually have to do. I mean, when you mention this name, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Nor me.
And what she would have to work very, very hard to put herself in the national conscience. People will not
get yourself on TV.
You know, yeah.
Thanks. You've got to get onto TV. You know, you've got to be in the newspapers. You've got to do something. You've got to be a bit of a character and all that kind of thing. It's not really about ability, is it?
No.
Was Keir Starmer a bit of a character?
Well, no, he's not, is he? That's why he's not getting any votes, you know.
The first time that Pierre Trudeau, not the present one, but his father, stood for president, the man who was against him was a chap called Robert Stanfield.
Yeah.
And he was described as the best prime minister that Canada never had, because Trudeau had got the charisma.
And he went off with film stars, didn't he?
That's right. Well, he married Sheila Sinclair, who was the queen of the ski slopes.
That's
so
right.
Yeah. Anyway, here's this: the fuel bills to climb by £800 as the price cap rises again.
Absolutely.
What have you got to have to say about that, Ollie?
Right. Well, under a select committee meeting like this today, the head of Ofgem, who looked very, very, very dodgy to me, he said the fuel bill is going up to £2,800 in October. Well, that means, fuel poverty is going to really knock off people. I mean, people can't afford that kind of money, a lot of people. Do you remember how annoyed I was when it went up to 2,000 for an average 3-bedroom house? The thing went up to 200 because it went up by 700 quid last night. Now it's gone up by another 800 quid, and that's all because of the gas price, basically, they say. But it's very, very, very difficult to know. So why, where we are on that now, it will go up, definitely.
Yeah. Well, did I also see, while you were sunning yourself in Edinburgh or whatever it was that you were sunning yourself, is that actually that they altered the number of price caps that these energy firms can now have, and that they've extended it to 4 in a year.
Are they really? Well, I'm not sure that's true, but anyway, if you say so.
Well, it was reported. Just because it's reported doesn't mean it's true. But
I can't see that as much point to that, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's a much point to anything that they're doing at the moment.
Well, absolutely not. Well, now we get into this whole question of the windfall taxes, don't we?
Absolutely.
Sunak said last year that he's going to give £22 billion to help fuel bills, and that was going to come basically from a windfall tax on the North Sea fossil companies, and that was that. And then later on, just now, in fact, he said there's not only going to be a windfall tax on fossil fuels, there's going to be one on offshore wind farms and hooray, 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 until the energy suppliers, including the 5 big, which I've been going on about for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right.
The cartel of 5 big companies, which are paying their leaders huge sums of money. I know one of them gets 140,000. What's it? And they give these dividends off to the shareholders. Okay. Now there is a myth, basically, that BP and Shell, they give their huge gross profits off to the shareholders who give them to the pension funds. But in fact, the amount of money that goes out to the pension funds is 10% of the whole total of pension funds in the country. So it's all a little bit of a mistake or a myth, really. But then it's good to see that they are going to tax the energy companies, really, whether it's windfall tax or not.
Not.
I shall come to this in my programme a bit later,
Right, you are.
about what it really means.
The Daily Telegraph, windfall tax within days as the Prime Minister seeks to throw off Partygate.
Yeah.
Just exactly what you said.
Mm.
And you will be outlining that more for us later on.
Genuinely, I don't know anyone who still cares about Partygate.
Mm.
No one really cares. It's just like, oh yeah, that happened.
Well, that's where you see that they live in a bubble in Westminster.
Of course they do.
They react to the things that bother them.
Yeah.
They are also angry and angry young men, angry young women. He did this, he did that. But outside, there's an earthquake. Well, never mind that. The earthquake can wait. Partygate is important. There you see, it's all happening this morning. This is probably all about the castle walls. Yeah, right.
Yeah, hello.
So the Daily Mail
That's mine.
is a rescue deal for the cost
Lovely,
of
thanks.
living in days.
Yeah, lovely, thanks.
So there you are, the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Oliver, rescue deal for the cost of living in days, right?
I wouldn't know about that.
That's what they're boasting now. The Daily Express, it's ready. Rishi's rescue plan for millions, right? The Times, the windfall tax will fund help for poor families. Now this bothers me. How the hell do you determine who are poor? And if you're actually going to give them cash, how do you know they'll spend it on trying to alleviate their poverty and not down at the gambling club straight away?
Well, look, all that I can tell you at the moment, right, is that there are 28 million homes in this country, 28.5. So let's round it up to 29.5, right? 29.5 million homes in this country. Okay.
Yeah.
Now they have got what? 22 million pounds, billion pounds from the money that Rishi found. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's say that the taxing the energy companies would bring another 10 billion in.
How much money, sorry?
10 billion.
10 billion.
Yeah, from what they're trying to do. And that's 32 billion, right? Now, divide 32 billion by what? 29,000. 29,000.
We've got here.
Yeah, 290.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
So a billion divided by what? 29 million homes?
29, yeah. No, 32 billion
Oh, 32.
divided by 29.
Click, click, click. Can you hear? Our brains are whirring.
I've got my calculator. I'm doing it on the calculator.
Well, I'm assuming we're taking 10% of the homes, right? So it's 290, six figure. So divide 32 billion pounds by 290,000.
Okay, all right, I've got it.
Yeah.
So 39 billion divided by the 29 million homes in this country would be 1,300 per household.
Yes. Right. That is going to help them through one window. It's a windfall tax. It's once and then it's gone. Right? So my feeling is that they should actually find a proper policy. For example, they should have something like a pension. Let's supposing you work for somebody, right?
Yeah.
You put a little bit of money into your pension, and the company puts the rest. But in this say, we could have people manage to find some money, and the government finds the rest. And this goes over the years. It doesn't just a one-off payment. And this is what they should do, but they haven't got the wit to do that. It's like a pension, or it's like national insurance, isn't it?
So this would be somewhat like a stimulus check, like they had over in America. Like you would get 1,000.
300
So it's 1,300
per household.
per household.
So average three, right? Yeah.
So that's not a lot. That's 1 month bill. That's 1 month worth of bills.
No, it's not. If you're talking about if it's 1,300,
Right.
right, and your average, then that is one winter's basically.
Right.
That reduces it to what? 1,000, not to 200, 2,000.
I don't know. I'm getting confused.
Right,
now.
1,600 has got to be found by the householder.
Right.
Right? That's still a lot of money. Right? So it's just, okay, one windfall house. Like you will, somebody leaving you a few bob, but they're not leaving you the entire amount.
Right.
And it's only gonna help over one winter, basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
basically.
that's, what, 3 months maybe? 4
Well, let's say
months?
6 months.
Okay,
Let's do
6.
it show from September to March. And what happens then? You know, it's gone. So you're back to playing whatever it is.
Yes, it's
But
a
you-
temporary
when
measure.
Yeah.
You two aren't going to have to pay that money back.
No, but
I will. I'm going to have to. My kids will. Their kids will.
exactly.
All this printing, all this just magicking money out of nowhere is just ridiculous.
Oh, that's a well established practice.
May I say though, Max, you'll have our eternal gratitude.
I will move.
No,
Now, the Financial Times, your old stomping ground,
yeah.
is one thing, of course, is that we lose sight of when these things get very, very down to earth
Yeah.
on the doorstep, as it were, is that the energy companies, the stocks have taken a beating.
Yes, of course they
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Well, explain to people, because you understand it, I vaguely understand it, and a few other people do, but not a lot of people understand, how the companies are made up with shares and so on. So they are losing their value on the stock exchange.
No, there isn't, because they've just been hit by a bloody great taxation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simple as that, you know.
And under those circumstances, will investors run for cover? In other words, they sell their shares when they are afraid that they're going to
Yeah. I certainly sell mine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Well, there you are. You see, that's a good example. Is you hold energy shares, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Right. Okay. Well, that's the papers, and it's taken us through till 9:26. Now, can I recap that through all the jumble and the excitement that is going on in this hotel and our studio this morning, is here are a few other things. First of all, the castle walls are coming tumbling down. And there is a meeting which the fearsome twosome here are going to go off and cover at 10:30.
It's supposed to be at 10:30.
At 10:30. Katie Price is in court across the road, somewhere around 10 o'clock, you figure? Well, court starts at 10, doesn't it? Normally. And
She's already in there now, so she'll be coming out.
oh, she's already in there, is
Yeah.
she? Oh, that's
Katie
very
Price is not a
early.
wag, is she? She's not in with
No, she used to be.
Mrs. Rooney and
She used to
Mrs.
be. I
Vardy.
think that's how she got famous, by
Yeah.
sleeping with football players or something. And she used to be in
Well, you got
adult films.
You've
as
got to
well.
flag your assets, you know, Max.
I mean, why is she there? Is it something to do with her driving? Wasn't wasn't
I don't
she in
know.
an accident?
She keeps getting in like driving related incidents. She was actually, I remember she was actually on an episode of what was it? UK Cops. Have you seen that show? Have you seen that show?
Oh, UK Cops. Yeah,
UK
yeah.
Cops. She was on
Right.
an episode of that. She got pulled over in Brighton, and they had her face blurred, but she was in a bright pink Land Rover. It's like, gee, I want to be that. Could be.
Yeah, right. Stay anonymous. Right. Okay. Now let's just take a very, very quick view. The energy and price rises dominate the headlines this morning, particularly the windfall tax. It is only going to reach about 15 out there today. A gentle breeze, so probably not a bad a day, and we are not threatened with rain. We have got a couple of things coming up. Stuart is on the case when it comes to local energy, and also where our castle is coming tumbling down. And Max is onto two stories. One, the Saudi Arabians who are
investing in Nintendo.
investing in Nintendo.
You weren't here when I said that, were you?
No.
I'll quickly recap it. So Saudi Arabia has invested in Nintendo and the game Mario Kart. Do you know that game?
I've heard of it, but I don't know it.
So Mario Kart 8 is coming out because of Saudi Arabia's investment of $3 billion. Saudi Arabia is saying they're not allowing female drivers in the video game.
Oh, God almighty. Well, God, what's gone wrong in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think it's been going on for a couple thousand years, I'll be honest.
Well, a friend of mine who was just died, the FT's Middle East editor, he said, never underestimate the staying power of the family. They've been in power since 1950, the 15th century, for God's sake.
Yeah.
They are very, very determined to stay in power, and they have this this succession and.
Right, it's 9:30. Time to say good morning, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes with the team on. They've got the bit between the teeth this morning, so here we go to say toodle pip just for 5 minutes or so.